Hey everyone, I'm about to do an unboxing of a deck that I stumbled across just recently in a bookshop. I wasn't actually looking for a deck of cards, believe it or not, so this was a nice little surprise. It's actually a Numerology Oracle, and before I show you that, I will admit I already own a Numerology Oracle deck. This is the Numerology Guidance Cards by Michelle Buchanan. This is a Hay House production. You've probably seen it before. Michelle Buchanan is actually from New Zealand. And I think before this, she had been practicing for 20 years prior to creating this deck. And the artist is Jonathan Quinton. He's a multimedia artist. And speaking of the art, you'll find on this deck, in case you haven't seen it, every card is a Merkaba, but of course you can see that it's all about colour combinations here, which I really like. If you work with chakras or colour therapy in any shape or form, this is a really interesting deck to work with. As you can see, there are keywords down at the base of the card, which I like working with also. I tend to do just a 1 or 2 card draw at the end of a tarot spread, but you can play with these whichever way you choose. And I think he actually created also a colouring book for adults. So he's right into geometric shapes, so on and so forth. Anyway, that's that deck. It's been around for a while and it's quite inexpensive if you are interested. Comes in, the normal tuck box size arrangement. The guidebook gives you about 1.5 pages per card, which is good, I think. Especially considering, you're dealing with a lot of double numbers, so I think the guidebook does help you understand from that perspective. And there are 99 cards all up in this deck. So this was going to be my one and only Numerology Oracle. I thought I don't need more than one. I studied numerology anyhow. But of course, I walked into this shop and found this deck. So it's a Numerology Oracle by Christine Bengel and Patrick Stahl, I think you would pronounce that. S-T-A-H-E-L. So let's have a look, shall we? This is what caught my eye. I thought the cards look quite different, so I'm going to dive in. So I'll just grab my trusty scissors. And let's see what we have. I know absolutely nothing about this deck, by the way, so I'm going in cold. Okay, so this is a normal tuck box quality, but of course it's large. Just exactly what you'd expect to find for an Oracle deck. But that's good. I'm so glad. I like storing my decks in their original boxes, if at all possible these days, because you have the information on the spine, much easier for your library. So here we go. This looks like quite a decent size book here. Wow. So a little bit of information on the back with regards to numerology. And if we go right up to acknowledgements, we have 155 pages. So there they are, the creators of this deck. So what have we got here? Christine was born in 1950. She's one of the most experienced and well-known numerologists in Central Europe. Aha! She studied science and psychology, and as a mathematics teacher, she dealt mainly with the quantitative aspects of numbers. Oh, I'm loving this already. Today, she teaches their qualitative aspects in seminars and workshops. I'll just see when this was published. So it's Shelter Harbor Press in New York. But would you believe I can't find a date? I'll look it up and see what I can find, and I can always just put up a little note for you later. Wait on, it might be in the back. Okay, 2011, so it's still quite new. So the book's, yeah, really beautifully done, actually. Nice, centered index in the front. So to get back to the authors, I'll just put this closer so I can read it properly. So Christine also is a coach for managers and individual clients as well, and she lives in Switzerland. And Patrick was born in 1974 in Switzerland also. And he trained as an architectural draftsman. His passion is the beauty of the forms of ancient cultures and their proportions according to golden ratio. This is the type of harmony he teaches therapeutically. Wow. While studying numerology with Christine, they recognized their shared passion for sacred geometry and for the hermetic law and decided to join forces to teach their mutual knowledge as educated and creative life counseling. So in 2009, they started to integrate their work into the holistic transformational tool of the, quote, matrix key from quantum physics. This is looking very groovy as far as I'm concerned. Wow. So it's far more than just draw a card and there you go. So first of all, I'll show you the cards. Obviously you can see they come in a little bag. It's like a felt kind of bag. Let's see what they look like. They're actually smaller than I imagined for some reason. Well, when I say smaller, they look like an average tarot size. Let me grab a deck for you. Yeah, it's the same size to me. Yes, it is. Look, there's a Joie de Vivre tarot, exactly the same size. So it is standard. I think it's just because I looked at the box initially, and for some reason I thought there'd be more like an oracle size. And it doesn't matter. Just curious, that's all. So there's the backing, but I'll take this shiny wrapping off first. Okay. So again, here is the backing. Beautiful. So I'll show you the cards and then we'll delve into the book and see what it's all about. So what do we have here? We have some symbols. This is interesting. Wow. So we've got 3 cards labeled 1, but of course it's the central geometric pattern that is different. We have the sun glyph in the top right hand corner. I presume it's the sun. This is intriguing me and I have absolutely no idea what these mean. So we've got 3 of those. Now for the 2s. Beautiful colours. It's like a teal. 3s. I like this cardstock. I don't know, the finish is very sort of matte. It's almost similar to, not to the same standard of course, but you know that sort of, that feel of the Wild Unknown. It's quite a different style of matte. And it's not the thickest cardstock, but it's good. It's okay. So here is, or here are the 3 3s. A number that I adore and feel very closely connected to. 4. So again, we're looking at different colors for each card, which I love. I'm just really into this combination. You know, you can look at the color side of things as well as the numerological value. 5. I'm already feeling that I'm very pleased that I purchased this deck and I still have no idea what it's all about. But it's very different to the other one, so that's what I thought. Perhaps I could use them together, do a major spread with this deck, and then draw one of the other numerology cards by Michelle Buchanan at the end of it. 7. Wow, look at that colour. 8. 9. And 0. So whereas the other deck has 99 cards, this is just 0 through 9 cycles, I imagine, which is what numerology is. So the book comes with a decent intro, and I'll read you just a little bit. It goes on to say that our cosmos, the universe, is full of frequencies and vibrations that constantly communicate with each other, and by doing this, continuously create new frequencies. There is no doubt that these cosmic forces have an influence on planet Earth and all of its inhabitants. Well, I would say I totally agree with that. So in this way, the microcosm is inextricably connected to the macrocosm. Yes, indeed. The famous mathematician and metaphysician Pythagoras was fascinated by its interplay. He carefully observed and listened to the music of the spheres until sound and number melted into each other and became a window to eternity in his Harmony of the Spheres. Eventually, the monochord he had invented played in celestial sounds in exactly measured ratios of numbers. Music and sacred geometry were unified. Now, I am a huge fan of Pythagoras and his healing methods through math and sound. And it mentions there the monochord. And I actually have a monochord, which I keep telling you I'm going to play for you. I'll just show you a glimpse. There it is. So mine is a Monolini monochord, and it's designed for healing. And I purchased this simply because of that. You know, I read up on Pythagoras, and he looked at music as healing, not entertainment. Music for entertainment came way after, you know, that period of time when he used sound and sound frequencies for healing. And I still find that absolutely fascinating to this day. So, back to the book. Just as people in ancient times were amazed at the sounds of the monochord, we are awed by the recognition that the universe swings in harmony and that all frequencies and vibrations are connected to each other, communicate with each other, and mutually create new vibrations. And these vibrations result in a permanent act of creation. This act of creation includes information. It is a pure field of information and has nothing to do with mass or energy. This field of information sits not only inside me, but spreads outwards into the whole universe. The cosmos is a unity, as this quantum code knows no limitation. Wow. And it goes on to say that the creators want you, the user, if you like, they want to show you the unity of number, image, and frequency, and to invite you to immerse yourself in a new dimension of holistic numerology. So from there we go into a chapter about numerology, and for time purposes I won't read it all to you. In fact, this book looks really quite amazing, and I'm going to have to delve in and then get back to you with another video, otherwise this will take too long. But I might just skim through this little chapter and just share a couple of main points with you when they speak of numerology itself. And I like what they say here. When present-day people think that numbers rule the world, they're thinking in materialistic terms. They think about quantity. When they look forward, they ponder rather than being awed about it all. Do they realize that something is missing, that quantity cannot be all there is? Do they long for better understanding of themselves and numbers? If you are one of those people, you must not only look forward, but backward as well. You understand that quantity necessitates a quality, and that you can feel the magic of numbers, a belief that overwhelmed the ancient Greeks. They believed that numbers ruled the universe and formed the basis of all being. Their universe consisted of matter and quantity, as well as spirit and quality. It goes on to say that Pythagoras researched the numbers in their mathematic value and in their qualitative being. Pythagoras was full of curiosity, it says, and he went on to study with the great teachers of the world, you know, with Persian teachers and Hindu teachers and Jewish and Arabic, so on and so forth. Oh, man, I'm sure I was there. I was probably one of his students. This just really resonates with me very, very strongly. And it goes on to say that he founded a mystery school at Croton in southern Italy. Oh my God, I have Italian blood. I must have been there. Anyway, that's where he taught his metaphysical knowledge and his metaphysical number wisdom. And you know, it's interesting. When I think back to school, I hated math. Yet I discovered numerology and everything changed. So now I love numbers, but in the past I did not. I did not feel a connection to that way of teaching and utilizing numbers. Even just looking at this book now, and they use the term number wisdom, and I thought, yeah, that's it. There was no wisdom involved when I learnt math, or it was arithmetic. It was about dividing, subtracting and adding, and that's about it. But they never ever taught us about the history of numbers, which is so fascinating, and how incredible the zero is, and when did it come into play. So you go back to, you know, Roman numerals, and then from what I saw on a documentary once, the zero actually came out of India. So I'm going to research that more, but that was a BBC documentary, so I would like to think they have their facts straight, but it was very, very interesting. The doco was actually on the number 1 and the history of 1, and then as in time, you know, the zero coming into play. And I don't ever remember being told at school how incredible and miraculous the zero is, because the zero is nothing, yet it is everything. And if I was taught that at school, I think it would have steered my life in a very different direction. A positive one at that. This book goes on to say that Pythagoras actually knew about the power of zero, and it says it drives present-day computer experts to madness because dividing by zero makes computers crash. It confronts all calculating experts. The zero, as it says here, may well guard the secret of the one who created our cosmos. Wow. I think that was a quote by mathematician Charles Seife, S-E-I-F-E, not sure how to pronounce that. It is at the same time the ending and the beginning of being. The mathematician Robert Kaplan adds, if you look at a zero, you see nothing. If you look through it, you see the whole world. Wow, that is a quote and a half. I love it. The book goes on to say that in our modern times, with regards to the zero, it requires a metaphysical awareness and action in a holistic and holographic sense. And this is why it's important in our time to connect quantity and quality, and to actively participate in the living process for the greater good, which refers to a natural spiritual intelligence. You need to listen to that natural spiritual intelligence if you want to have a deeper sense and understanding of life itself. Therefore, we are in for a paradigm shift, and this obviously requires a change in consciousness for mankind. He says we're talking about a new perspective on being that connects materialistic realism with spiritual idealism. We no longer require a mathematical either-or thinking, but we need a metaphysical as well as way of consciousness that's all about synchronicities and integration. Now that's so interesting to me, because we're talking about this, you know, great shift of consciousness that we are moving through right now, that was sort of spurred on, really, I think 2011, and then officially 2012. And what do they say? It takes, what, a couple of 100 years for that consciousness to really kind of spread globally and set itself in place in solid form, so to speak. Basically, he goes on to say, yeah, this means a quantum leap for mankind, because in our daily life we still use the deterministic Newtonian thinking that is dual and linear, which only knows either and or, which is what I just mentioned before. So it deals with only that which can be measured. Therefore, our classic view of the world is material and our nature consists of matter. But the new way of thinking is an understanding based on modern physics, on quantum physics, and that's the as well as in relationships, right? So we go from either and or with the Newtonian way of thinking to as well as the new way of thinking. So if we go back to Pythagorean numerology, it says we try to connect things to better understand numbers and time in order to use them fully in our lives. And we need to recognize that precise answers are contained in the numbers for collective as well as individual questions. Pythagoras found in numbers the very essence of all being, a unity of quantity and quality, of inner and immaterial values and outer material values. It's like the Justice card has those scales in perfect balance, finally. This blows my mind. So he recognized the numbers as building blocks of the universe, as a key to knowledge of human nature, and wise counselors and beings. That's how he saw the numbers. He said, everything that can be known is based on a number. They call this paradigm change of consciousness creologic thinking, which is the unity of creative, like the logical thinking, and then it comes into being with the heart. So a holistic and holographic consciousness as well. I hope you enjoyed that little journey into, well, this is just a very quick chapter on numerology, and I find it so informative. So the book then goes into chapter 2, the holistic and holographic meanings of the numbers. So obviously what I need to do is go through this myself so I can give you just a, as Kenny Everett used to say, a speeded up version, like a summary is what I'm looking for, of everything I'm learning from this book. And then I'll do some spreads and show you what it's all about when I understand it. But can I just say, thus far, I am absolutely loving this. And so there you have it. I'll get back to you on this with a part 2. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.